In this video, I would like to talk about adding list values and setting the defaults for the product Quick Quote. Today we want to go through adding additional material and other lists such as labor and finishing options, as well as setting some defaults for material height, width, roll width, etc. If we're in control within an estimate, underneath our list of products under Quick Quotes, you'll see a product for Quick Quote. You can set this default product up directly from within the estimate or order. So if I double click on it, open up the item, the first thing we come to is banner, or the product code. In this scenario, you'll see a drop-down list, and there's a sample in the system. If I want to add something to this list so that it remembers it later, I'll click on Add Edit Selection List. Then up at the top, you'll want to insert a row. And in this scenario, I can say Coro yard signs. Now at this point, that's all I need to do. However, as you'll notice, across there are a number of columns. The first one is the roll width, sheet height, and sheet width. What this is referring to are the defaults of those values for when doing this type of sign. If you set nothing, it will use what is set in the default of the top line. So in this scenario, you'll notice when I add a roll or add a sheet that they are setting the defaults based off of this list. If this was Coro yard signs and I always made them out of 18 by 24s, I could select that as my defaults for my sheet size that I create, and therefore it will select that default. So we have our Coro yard sign. How many they're ordering, of course, just as if we're entering it as normal. Then we come to our roll type. This particular list you should not need to edit within this product. It is defining what list comes after it. Based of my selection of roll, it has an independent list of materials compared to the sheet or the each. So which one you want to edit, you want to select first, and then we'll go into the roll material and hit Add Edit Selection List. In this scenario, I've added to my material vinyl. I could say wrap vinyl maybe. You have a couple of options other than just defaulting the name. You'll notice in this list there is a price and a cost FX. This is the default square footage price or whatever unit you're going to use by default. Meaning the same list for sheets where my is square footage. However, if I always used my sheet component and wanted to charge per sheet, then this value would reflect that as well. Change square footage. Edit. So that's going to default, as you've noticed, this value into the price per piece. It is taking that cost value and defaulting it as your scrap price, therefore automatically calculating that value based off my selection in the material list. The same is true with all the other lists that are currently in the system. If I want to change or add to my Coro list, if I wish to add a price or a scrap price, you can do that as well. The next listing are the finishing, and these will apply the same way. I can add edit if I have a pricing component that I use. You can put that in there. Same with labor. The fact that I'm choosing design can default this price for my design labor as long as I put it in the value for price. And you'll notice it defaults to $65 an hour. That's really it as far as setting up the Quick Quote product. What you may want to do is define your own products based off of this one as well. You will notice in the system, if we open up this direct product, you will see a number of products below it that are copies of this original product. They may be inactive, so you may have to check Show Inactive to see them. Once you've selected that product, you can rename it into anything you would like. And it will have already defined with it its own set of lists. What I mean by that is if you open up the product you just renamed, it will have a separate set of lists than the original Quick Quote product. This is the advantage of using one of the predefined products and renaming it over just cloning the original Quick Quote product. If you want another product of this just with a different name but of the same drop-down list, you can then just clone the Quick Quote product into anything you'd like. Using the additional products in the system and renaming them will give you a fresh set of drop-down lists. I hope this helps in the setting up of your new Quick Quote product. If you have any questions, please refer to your contact point person or let Sirius know. Thank you.